You're at the table with your friends. Someone's telling a story about something dumb that happened at a gas station, and everyone's losing it. Actual tears kind of losing it. You're laughing too, but there's a half second where you catch yourself watching the laughing more than being inside it. Like you got invited to a kid's table, except you're the same age as everyone there. Same birth year. Different, I don't even know the right word for it. If that's happened to you, you already know what this video's about. Some people just feel older than the number on their ID. Not the, "you're so mature" thing adults used to say like it was a gold star. This is heavier. Feeling older doesn't always mean something went wrong. Sometimes it's just personality, or grief, or simply being wired differently. But for a lot of people, it starts somewhere earlier than that. You got handed a few extra years somewhere along the way. Nobody asked if you wanted them, and you carried them anyway. Here's a small story that explains it better than describing it. Picture two kids, same age, same street. One comes home, and if a parent's had a rough day, the kid just eats dinner and goes back outside to play. The other already knows from the sound of the front door closing whether tonight's a normal night or a careful one. Same house, same love even. But one kid got to stay a kid, and the other got quietly promoted to something else without a job title. That second kid is who this video's about. And what actually did it wasn't hardship exactly. It was being handed emotional responsibility before you were handed the right to your own feelings first. You learned to manage a room before you learned to manage yourself. Psychologist Alice Miller studied this decades ago, called it the drama of the gifted child. Sounds like a compliment until you read what she meant by it. Kids who get very good, very fast, at sensing what an adult needs, get fluent in everyone else's weather, and stay strangers to their own. Nobody teaches a kid that on purpose. It just gets built, quietly, like a callus forming on a hand doing the same rough job over and over. Psychologists often call this parentification. The moment a child starts carrying responsibilities that were meant for an adult. Sometimes it's practical. Other times it's emotional. Calming arguments, listening to a parent's problems, or feeling responsible for everyone's mood. Here's the part people get backwards. They assume this kid is the difficult one. Usually the opposite. It's the kid everyone calls easy, the one teachers write, "an absolute pleasure to have in class," about. Which, sit with that sentence a second, is a strange thing to praise a 7-year-old for. Somewhere in there, being helpful stops being something you do and quietly turns into who you are. Needing less becomes the whole identity, not just a habit. Eventually, rest starts to feel like irresponsibility, and saying no starts to feel like letting someone down. There's a tiredness in this sleep doesn't touch. 9 hours and you still wake up already behind on something you can't name. Not laziness. A body that's been on alert so long, it forgot alert was ever optional. And there's the strange, specific stuff that gives it away. Apologizing to a delivery driver for making them walk up the stairs. Ordering the cheapest thing on the menu when someone else is paying, on principle, even after they've told you 3 times to get whatever you want. Here's the one nobody says out loud, though. Sometimes you resent it. Resent being the steady one. The one people call at 1 a.m. The calm in everybody else's storm, while nobody's checked what your own weather's doing. And the anger that comes with that doesn't mean you're ungrateful. Sometimes anger is just what grief sounds like once you finally notice how much care you gave before you were old enough to receive any back. You know that thing where you're at a party and part of you is already doing a head count of exits? Or noticing the one person alone by the wall while everyone else is dancing? You didn't choose to notice that. You just do. Automatic. Like breathing. Except this just quietly empties you out instead. Here's the turn. Go back to those 2 kids on the same street. None of what happened to the second one was their fault. It may have shaped their depth, but that doesn't mean the cost was harmless. The way they read a room before anyone else clocks something's off, the steadiness people quietly lean their whole weight on, came from somewhere true. But that strength isn't the whole story, and it was never supposed to be the price of a childhood. So go back to the table. Your friends, still laughing about the gas station thing. You, half a beat outside it. That gap was never a flaw in you. It was just you, arriving early to a life you weren't supposed to have to grow up for yet. I won't tell you that's fine, because some days it isn't. But it's yours. It made sense once. Maybe some of it still does. So tell me, not when you understood this about yourself, when you first felt it, before you had a single word for it. Type that one in the comments.